Salaho everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a review of the brand new Gear VR. Now this is the one that has the USB Type-C connector and a few updates from last year's version. I'm also going to show you a quick comparison from the original Gear VR that first came out, the Innovator edition, all the way to the one that we have now. Is it worth updating if you have the original one? Is it worth updating the second one? We're going to check that out. This is TK. Let's go ahead and talk about the brand new Gear VR. So as you may know, the Gear VR has been around for a few years. It went from the Innovator edition, which was just compatible with the Note 4, all the way to last year, which was compatible with a lot of devices, almost everything that was from the Galaxy S6 line of devices, all the way to the beginning of this year with the S7 and S7 Edge. And now with the new Note 7 and the USB Type-C, the Gear VR had another evolution. So I'm going to show you guys real quick the comparison between the hardware from the original one to the new one. And if you have the original one, is it worth upgrading to the new one, and so on. To the left, I have the Innovator edition. This is only compatible with the Note 4. To the right, I have the new Gear VR compatible with the Note 7 and forward, since the USB Type-C is going to be the standard. It is backwards compatible to last year's model with the adapter that's provided in the box. I'll give you guys a link to my unboxing video for this so you guys can check out, see exactly what comes in there. Main aesthetic differences, of course, right out of the box, you'll notice is that the straps are very different. The Innovator edition had more, I would say, more luxurious straps. They were better, more padding. They looked more like the headset, which kind of like, developed in a sense to make it look more futuristic. So from a sense of aesthetics look, you kind of looked like this with something on your forehead pointing down to the actual headset. It had more padding on the back and on the top, giving you a much more comfortable feel. As far as the face padding, it didn't feel as good because the foam was very light. But again, that's just more of an aesthetical thing. On the new one, the straps are pretty much the same as last year's model. Very simple, very easy, very light. And then they provide the exact same coverage, just no padding on the top or on the left. If we go down as far as the actual padding on the inside, the foam has changed to something a little bit more firm. It feels better on your face. One thing I did notice between the two differences, we had better coverage with the first generation for the nose as opposed to where we have it here. And you notice again here, the Velcro is not exactly connected to the right spot. Overall, as far as optics, we have the proximity sensor on the old one sitting on the right side, and it's now dead center, similar to this here. The lenses are bigger and they're definitely much better positioned. Again, the coverage here on the nose was much better. You didn't feel as much stress on your nose with this one as much as you're having with this. Again, not a big problem, but something that you need to be aware of. But again, definitely better cushioning on the unit itself. One thing we'll notice here is we have similar basically the pads, the sensor pad, kind of like the mouse within the actual UI. It's flat on both ends with a little bit of a dimple here in the middle telling you this is the center. We have one back button here. We have a home and back button. We have volume control, which is up and down for both of them. We do not have power pass-through on the original design, which limited the amount of time you'll be able to play with it. On the new one, you do. We do have vents on the new one, which give us better ventilation for the unit so that it fog off fast. We didn't have that here. And again, the pass-through on the side. On the other side, nothing big, just basically says Gear VR, Oculus. That's just the branding. On the top, we still have the jog dial, which gives us the ability of adjusting the optics so that we get the clearest picture within the game. And then as far as the shield, we've gone as far as redesign on this one. So I'll go ahead and take off this one. The new one has more of just a plate. And I say this is because in the original one, you were able to actually put this shield back on after you had the actual device inside. Now we're looking at the new Gear VR on the right side and the old one on the left. You'll notice that there's very similar aesthetics. We did have more openings here, so there was much more, this was more prone to light bleeds and not having a best experience on it. Mostly because of the way the configuration of the lenses. They wanted to keep them ventilated, so they give you more openings, creating more light situation where it's able to go from one end to the other. But you'll notice also there's a very big similarity between the two here. You have the same separator here, and as far as the optics, you're definitely still getting much bigger lenses on the new Gear VR, giving you a better experience. I saw the comment in one of the first videos I did on this one and said that the optics didn't look as big, but I'm putting them close enough for you guys here with the zoomed in shot just so you can guys, pause the video and look. This is only compatible with micro USB, again, only compatible with the Note 4, so this is where the limitation of this device, where this one is compatible with pretty much everything from the Galaxy S6 all the way up to the Note 7. So 2 years worth of devices, definitely very compatible. Now, there is a little bit of an opening between the two, but much better experience as far as when you put your device, and less chances of getting light bleeds across. Now, between these two devices, I think it's a no-brainer. If you have the Note 4, you're pretty much stuck where you are. Unfortunately, the Note 4 is not compatible with the new one, but if you have upgraded since then from the Note 4, this is a no-brainer. I would definitely get rid of this one, sell it on Swappa, they do sell these things, and then pick up one of the new ones, either this one or last year's model, depending on the device you have. If you have a micro USB device, definitely last year's model will work for you. If you have a USB Type-C device, this is again a no-brainer, because there's some good updates here that we're going to show you guys real quick as I compare this to the last year's model. First thing you'll notice on both ends, they pretty much almost look the same, except for the midnight blue color with the black facing on the front and the white color and the black facing here. Both have a front plate, both have straps that are very similar. I think are pretty much the same straps. As far as padding, they both feel pretty much the same. Here on the right, we have the new Gear VR. On the left, we have the last year's model. The proximity sensor is same spot. You'll notice that the lenses on the Gear VR, the new Gear VR, are much better, giving you a much better field of view and easier visibility. So you definitely have upgraded optics. So if you're using the current Gear VR and you want to get better optics, the new one will work with your current device as long as it's a Galaxy S6 and up with a micro USB adapter that's provided with the new Gear VR. Current one works pretty good, but again, just definitely a better experience. The padding, again, it just feels pretty much the same. I just feel like it's a little bit firmer on the new one, but it could just be because it's a brand new device. We have gone slightly different from what we had in last year's model. We had a grooved gamepad on the side with a center button that gave you the ability of controlling it. You definitely knew which direction you were going in as you were swiping. Not to say that you would be confused as you're playing, because you, well, anyways, if you played a Gear VR before, you'll know exactly that almost all the controls will work the same. We have one back button here where we have now a home and a back button, so we have an addition of a new button. The sensitivity on the touchpad has been increased, very, very nice. A bare mere touch of it will initiate either a fire or whatever you need to do, or selecting something. We still have the volume rocker up and down here sitting on the top, and we have the power pass-through on this device for both units. The old one is the USB Type-C, the micro USB connecting here, so you'll be able to charge directly and then charge your device. On the new one, it's a USB Type-C. They do provide an adapter for you to be able to charge using a micro USB cable. Looking at both devices side by side, the new Gear VR is on the right. We definitely can notice that there's a bigger optics on the right than we have on the left. The design is again familiar to the original Gear VR as far as the Innovator edition, with the separation here for better light configuration. On the left, we don't have that. Even though it kind of looks like it's physically bigger on the left, really the dimensions as far as the right side are much bigger. They're more square shaped and bigger as opposed to where they're oval. So you're losing some space on these edges, as well as the fact that it's just bigger lenses on it. The adapter here on the right side for the Gear VR is replaceable with a micro USB from what it has right now, which is the USB Type-C. This one is only compatible on the left with the micro USB. So if you have the Galaxy S6 all the way to the S7 Edge, and that's what you're happy with, you may be better buying the original or the last year's model of the Gear VR as opposed to upgrading to the new one. When you're getting into basically last year and this year's model, there's a few things that are obviously just stand out just right there. The button configuration, we have an additional button. We have a better touchpad, slightly bigger touchpad. The optics on the new Gear VR are definitely a little bit bigger, better configuration, less chances of light bleeds, and I think it's a much better experience using it. You do definitely have future-proofing here, because the USB Type-C will definitely be the standard going forward. This is going to have a lot of functionality. If you don't have a Gear VR, I would definitely jump on having this one. If you do have let's say an S7 or S7 Edge and you're happy with it and you're going to be sticking with it for some time, save some money and go with last year's Gear VR. And I say that because the fact of the matter is it's still a very solid device and it has a lot of features. The pass-through for the power, the functionality, everything will still work very well. As far as gameplay and functionality, the experience on the Gear VR is pretty much the same as what you have with the Note 7, as well as what it is with the S7 Edge and the S7, or even the Note 5. They updated the actual software for the Oculus software, so you no longer have two different experiences. I'm going to show you some footage here from some gameplay that I had and some other applications and just different things that I was able to do while I was in the Gear VR. If you're interested to learn how to do screen recording within your Gear VR, please check out the link in the description below. I did a walkthrough video on the setup. Gameplay within the actual Gear VR is very, very nice. Very smooth, very easy. I am using a GameSir controller. Again, I did a review for this on my channel. It's very nice, very simple to control. Once you pair it via Bluetooth, it works directly with the unit, and it's easy to play the gameplay. As I was showing you guys, I think it was called gunmetal, or gunjack. I think it's very easy to shoot, configure, change different things. The aspect ratio on the video capture, unfortunately, is 4:3. That's the limitation of the system. I am not limiting it for you guys. But it's still easy to be able to capture. Not only that, capture and share, so you can edit it and share it and show some different examples. I like the new one. I like the fact that it has been updated to USB Type-C. I think this is something that we should all consider if we don't have the Gear VR. If we already have the Gear VR and we don't have a Note 7, I think at this point it's a little early. I would say stick with what you have. All of the configurations, the UI, everything else has pretty much been updated on the S7 Edge to support the exact same setup. Very nice, very easy. It sells for about $100 right now on Amazon. And again, this is compatible with the Note 7 and the S6 Edge, the S6 through all the way the S7 Edge devices. So anything that uses micro USB as well as USB Type-C currently from Samsung on the high-end devices. So I'm saying again, S6, S6 Edge, S6 Edge Plus, and then Note 5, S7, S7 Edge, and then now the Note 7. That's a lot of S's. Will be compatible with the new Gear VR. Better optics, better touchpad, more configuration as far as different access. You have an additional button here. Again, the optics I think just feels very nice. Weight-wise, just exactly same thing. It really didn't change that much from the sense of weight. Works great with the Note 7. I think it's a great combo if you have a Note 7. Just pick up one of these. I wanted to give you guys my definite experience using this brand new Gear VR. Do I like it? Am I happy that I upgraded? The fact of the matter is yes. I don't have the S7 Edge anymore. The S7 Edge is my wife's phone. Mine actually had to upgrade to get the Note 7. So for me, this is my Gear VR. And the reality of the matter is I'm actually borrowing this from my wife because this is her Gear VR. She has the S7 Edge and this works with it. Thank you very much for the support. Like and subscribe as usual. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below if you'd like to see more videos like this. But again, thank you for the support. I'll see you guys in the next one.